Hello everyone, my name is Noelle Dawson and this is my virtual presentation for humanities. I decided to do two cultures, the Indian culture, which is here on your right, and then I did Islamic culture, which is on your left. I just thought they were such beautiful cultures. I chose them because they're so beautiful and complex, and I just think that there's so much to learn from these two cultures, especially with religion, just the way that they have so much peace and their dedication to religion has always just inspired me. Their family life is always very homey. You know, they like to do things that remind them of home. And their food is one of those biggest things that make them feel at home and really tie the culture together, which I've just always adored. And I just think that they really inspire people to grow and have more culture. So yes, that is why I chose them. This is Indian art here on the bottom right, and this is Islamic art. You can tell that they're both very colorful, and they both have a lot to say, especially in relevance to making an impact to what they believe and just being able to exploit certain artists and the way that they do things. Especially for Indian art, they do a lot of henna tattoos, which can take up to some of those tattoos they do all over their bodies. I know for Indian people that a lot of them do henna for their wedding day, and they do it all over their body. And it's just so beautiful, and it lasts up to like 2 weeks, and it does not rub off, which is amazing. On the other hand, there's Islamic art, which isn't super in depth. It usually is just shapes. It's very geometric and very unique, which is abnormal for art, but they always incorporate their religious beliefs into their art, which is very fascinating. Food is a big thing. This is Islamic food. They eat a lot of naan bread, and they stuff a lot of filling into this bread usually. And then there's Indian food over here, which is they make a lot of curry, and they have all types of spices. They're known for their spice. Especially they both have a similarity in culture where they both use a lot of bread within their meals, but their beliefs on what they should make are usually different due to also religion, which is very cool. And both foods are very, very good. Very good. Their clothing. So over here on the left is Indians, a version of Indian clothing, and this is a stylish version of Islamic clothing. Islams have to usually cover everything, every part of their bodies except for their eyes. Meanwhile, Indians are very exposed. They don't mind showing their tummies and their shoulders, and they have a very elegant style. So depending on each culture, they're allowed to wear different things, and it's personal preference, especially from where you're from. And they wear these beautiful gowns with veils, and it's very, very cool. Religion, over here is an Islamic religion, and over on the right is an Indian religion. So Islam, they usually follow one God, Meanwhile, Indian religion, there's hundreds of gods that they can worship. Hundreds. They're very dedicated. So Islamic people, they worship at least, both really, tons and tons every day. It's a huge part of their day. They're dedicated to it. They love it. And they feel peace and they feel relaxation. Although they're very open-minded, you see in the comparison, Indians are or Hinduism, they're a little more open to the possibility of multiple gods, and usually they worship an artifact or an item. Meanwhile, Islamic people usually worship Allah. There's only one God for them. They usually get on their hands and knees and bow to Allah, and there's a whole sound that they hear when it's initiated for them to worship. Both are so very beautiful. One time I went to a Islamic temple, and it was gorgeous. And they usually separated the women on one side and the men on the other. The women were in the back or in the front, and the men were in the back, but they could not sit together. And when I was in India, I went to a Hinduism temple, and the people there were just so at peace and so in love with everything they were doing. It was really amazing. My ability to relate to these cultures is that I was brought up in a missionary family, and my parents just encouraged to get to know culture, and living with the Indian people and going to Islamic temples just changed my life. I felt like I could relate to them from my experience and from traveling, and I just was so envious and ambitious to learn what they knew and to be able to understand everything that they had experienced. Also, growing up in a big family, I realized that I got to be around, 10 older siblings with different personalities, and just the way that they communicated. It really gave me an understanding of how to better understand other people that weren't like me, and I got to tap into being open-minded and really set free from a life where you're told you have to think and feel and choose a certain thing. And I never felt that way when I was learning about these two cultures, and just the more I learn, I think it's really amazing. I think that the worldview on these two cultures is that they are loyal and they are committed to whatever they choose, whether it be their religion, their family, their culture, and their tradition. Over time, things evolve and things change, but it seems that with religion and culture with these two Indian people and Islamic people, they like to keep their tradition going. And the perspective on it is that not many understand these two different cultures, but they try to be relatable to them. And I think that is just so beautiful. The worldview can just be different from their perspective and their experience, and every individual always changes, both depending on where they come from. My question is, how are individuals from these two cultures similar, and how are they different? My answer to this question is, I believe they're similar from the standpoint that their cultures are very, very strict. And I think that their beliefs are strong, and they are strong people. and they fight for what they believe in. I think that they're different from, small things to their food, to their clothes, to big things like their very different religious beliefs and worship practices. Well, thank you all so much for listening. I hope that everybody stays super safe and healthy on their daily lives and educational journey. One of my favorite quotes by Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am. I say, I do not think. That is why I exist." So, good luck, and I hope everyone enjoyed this, and, stay healthy, okay? Bye.